everyone, I'm Jeremy Fromm with Mercury Security, and welcome back to the Mercury Minute. This week, we're taking a quick detour from intelligent controllers to cruise through the beautiful little town of Credential Technologies. Population, way more than you'd expect still using magstripe and Prox. Let's start with this. Not all credentials are created equal, especially when you're focusing on security and end-to-end encryption. Are you still using magstripe, Prox, Legacy iClass, or MyFair Classic? If so, then I'm assuming that those credentials just seem to always work, right? Well, there's a downside to using those credentials. They don't use any encryption whatsoever, and if they do have encryption, that encryption has been broken. As you've probably seen, it's simple to clone those credentials either using a tool that you buy online or even going to a kiosk at Home Depot over by the paint section. We could talk about that stuff all day, but I want to focus on the secure stuff. DESFire EV3 or HID Seos. These both support AES-128 encryption with a secure identity object, and simply put, if you're looking for something that's super secure and fulfills our need for end-to-end encryption, well, you're looking in the right place. That right there is the very basics. If you want secure credentials, look at DESFire EV3 or Seos. But if you can spend more time, listen in and we'll dive in deeper. Credential technology examples include magstripe, Prox, iClass, MyFair, DESFire, or Seos. Now keep this in mind. If your existing readers are older and they don't support or speak the language of the new secure technology, well, they simply can't communicate then. The credential and reader need to be compatible. For example, if you're using a credential that uses the Prox technology, well then your reader needs to be capable of reading Prox. And if your credential uses the Seos technology, well then your reader needs to be capable of reading Seos. So yes, that means you may need to update your readers if you're really interested in having secure credentials to support your end-to-end encryption journey. Next, let's clear up a common mix-up, the card format. A card format is just the overall structure of the data that lives on the credential. It's made up of some number of bits, maybe 26, 37, 48, and out of those bits, some are used for the facility code and others are used for the badge ID. It's really just the zeros and ones of the data that are formatted in a really specific and consistent way. The card format doesn't necessarily have anything to do with encryption, but there are some things about the card format that allow you to secure your credential in a better way. I would recommend that you use some sort of restricted format like the HID Corporate 1000 format. The Corporate 1000 program will create a unique facility code for an end user, and it will restrict who can purchase that format. So again, the card format doesn't add any level of encryption, but it means that that end user's specific facility code and badge ID combination isn't being purchased by 500 other organizations all around the globe. It is truly unique for that one specific end user. As you can see, we're starting to layer security here. If you're using a credential technology that's secure, like DESFire or Seos, and you're loading the data in a Corporate 1000 format, then you have multiple layers of security. One, people can't clone a DESFire or a Seos card. And two, people can't just go out and buy a Corporate 1000 format with your facility code and load that onto some other type of card. It's a layered approach, sort of like my clothing game in Florida during the winter when the temperatures drop below 50. There's a lot of layers. Now for the main event and finale, encryption keys. Enter stage left. These encryption keys go on to both the credentials and the readers so that they can properly communicate. But there's a couple of ways in how these encryption keys may look. The first up is standard encryption keys. Now these are AES encryption keys. They're incredibly secure, but they're used broadly across many organizations, and they all use the same exact key. It allows integrators to go into any sort of distribution house, pull a reader from the shelf, pull a set of credentials from the shelf, and just know that they're plug and play and that they'll easily work together. Again, the keys themselves are really secure and they're not public, but the risk is if somebody were to ever figure out the standard encryption keys, then theoretically they would have access or have the encryption keys for many readers out throughout the globe. The next is elite encryption keys. Now these are also AES-128 encryption keys, but they're unique to you and only you. Elite is really easy to set up. There's just a little bit of information you need to provide before you order in order for your credentials and readers to communicate properly. My recommendation would be to always use elite encryption keys because it makes you unique throughout the world. So the secure stack looks like this. You start off with a secure credential technology that can't be cloned, such as DESFire EV3 or Seos. You then focus on the data and how that goes onto the credential. We would recommend the Corporate 1000 program to give you unique and restricted facility code and badge ID information. And then you would wrap all that and secure all that information with encryption keys. Now there's standard keys like we just mentioned, but we would recommend that you use the elite program to keep you unique. And if you do these three things, you end up with a solution that can't be cloned, faked, or purchased by others, and it puts you in a really good position to have a secure credential. So make it DESFire or Seos, make it Corporate 1000, and make it elite for the highest level of security and to put you on your way for full end-to-end encryption. Tune in next Monday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll start discussing how readers communicate with their SIO modules. We'll put a focus on why OSDP Secure Channel is so important. That's the Mercury Minute. Stay open and stay secure, my friends. See y'all next time.